Week in Talk About Sports. Hello and welcome to This Week in Sports for Friday, April 8th, 2016. I'm Mike McClung here with newcomer Joe Forbes. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Potentially the future right here.
Yeah,
so getting our first taste. So we're going to start with a little bit of April madness because, it's not March anymore.
Creative.
Nova took the championship over UNC. What do we see in that game?
It was a great game, very close. North Carolina actually had a really great comeback towards the end of the game, but they just couldn't pull it through. I saw that they said that they thought they were going to really push it to overtime, but Chris Jenkins doing what he's going to do, hitting that game-winning three, clutch, and that's exactly what Nova needed. And they were kind of slept on throughout the series, even though they were a 2 seed. Beating Kansas, beating a bunch of big teams, Oklahoma, being able to shut out Buddy Hield definitely got them to the championship, and that's definitely why they won, because they were able to shut out the best scorer in NCAA right now, and they were able to do it in such a great way, and blowing them out against Oklahoma gave them enough confidence, I think, to beat UNC.
And how about Page's shot? I believe it was Page, right, that hit the crazy three where he double clutched. Oh, it was ridiculous. When you saw that watching it live, you had to feel like all the momentum was going to North Carolina.
Exactly.
And then out of nowhere, Villanova runs down the court in 6 seconds and hits the game-winning shot. Everybody went crazy except Jay Wright. He didn't even care. I don't know if you saw it or not. He was the most static person I've ever seen after winning a national championship. But, yeah, they really had a great team, and they kind of came in not necessarily as one of the top picks to win the championship despite being a 2 seed, but they really proved that defense wins championships, and when you're balanced and can shoot threes and also score inside when needed, then that's really good for you.
Yeah, they had no star player of the team, but it was the way they played together and collaboratively, especially, as you said, as a defense. That definitely was what won the championship for them. And just shooting the ball right and getting good shots, not taking any bad shots. And surprisingly, only 2.6% of brackets picked Nova to win it all. So that's crazy to think that the team that won it all, only 2.6%. Yeah, I mean, Duke last year, 20-30% of the brackets were Duke. So, I mean, it was just a surprise. But I thought Nova was going to do well, and they did. And I'm glad that they won it. That was a good team, and I'm glad that they put good effort as a team.
I really like what they did to North Carolina, too, because North Carolina's a team that doesn't like to shoot the 3 ball. They're not very good at it, and they just locked down the paint. And actually, North Carolina was hitting on a lot of threes. When you think about if North Carolina just shot to their average on 3 balls in that game, Nova wins by 10 or 20. But North Carolina came out. They were 7 of their first 9 or something. They continued to hit throughout the game, and that's the only thing that kept them in it. And then Nova was able to pull away with that final shot.
That's the thing about the championship game. It's always the 2 best teams, and that's why you put them on a showcase, and you just watch them go at it, and that's what happens. You get a buzzer beater 3 to win the game, and that's it. That's all that can be said.
Yeah, really.
The
great
rest is
game.
history.
Really great team, and from the greatest team in college to the greatest team in the pros right now, the Warriors have gone to 70-9. That is ridiculous. They need to win 3 more games for the record. They played last night. They beat the Spurs. I think they're gonna do it. You don't.
They're not the best team in the West. That's the problem.
Oof.
They can't have the record if they're not the best team in the West. That's the thing. They may have beat the Spurs last night, but they're not a better team than the Spurs. And in a series, they will not beat the Spurs. And 70 wins is definitely an amazing accomplishment. They're the second team to do that. They're the second team to reach 70 wins in a season.
They're gonna be the first team to get 73.
They can't.
But they
can.
can.
They're just shooting. They only shoot. They only can shoot the 3 ball. You saw that they lost to the Timberwolves 124-117 in overtime. They were looking sluggish at times. Steph Curry from the field didn't make a shot in the first quarter, let alone the first half. So from the field, he only had 2 points, and they were all free throws. So if Curry's playing like that against the Timberwolves, how are you going to win the championship again? And with all the pressure that comes getting back to back, they're not the best team in basketball, and they don't deserve the record. They may tie with the Bulls for that record, but they're not gonna get it. They're gonna choke.
Here's
Kerr doesn't know what to say.
You think the Spurs are the best team in the league?
They are.
What happened last night? The Warriors went out, and it wasn't even that close for most of the game. The Warriors kind of beat up on them. You're going to tell me Memphis, we're both going to agree, are freebies, right? They're going to beat Memphis both times?
I don't know. That's
Memphis is playing
I mean, last season, Memphis had 2 games on the Warriors, and then they just dropped dead. They were not there.
Last season. Now, Memphis has a lot of injuries right now. To me, what it's coming down to is, are the Warriors going to beat the Spurs the next time they play? I think they're going to. I think with that much on the line and how little Popovich cares about the Spurs winning in the regular season, he's not going to put anybody out there, and if he is, he's not going to play him the whole game. He really doesn't really care that much. He's proved that he can beat them at full strength already once this year. That game means more to the Warriors than it does to the Spurs, who have openly come out and said, like, we want this record. I think they're going to do it, and then come playoff time, maybe in a 7-game series, it's a little bit closer. I agree with you there, but I think for sure the Warriors are going to be able to come out with everything they have and be able to take that game.
The thing about what you just said is that there's a big difference between the Warriors and the Spurs. The Spurs, their bench can play like a starting 5. The Warriors don't have a solid bench. They have Sean Livingston, Leandro Barbosa, James Michael McAdoo, Maurice Spates. Kyle Anderson's is going off. All right, he's playing real well, and they just have a really good bench, the Spurs, and without 2 of their starting 5, they're 5-0. So that means with like Duncan or Parker or Ginobili out, they have won games. They've gone undefeated without them. So you're telling me that the Warriors are the better team. The Spurs are the better team because overall as a team they can play better than the Warriors can.
I'll agree with you. Their defense and their backups are probably better than the Warriors' backups. But the thing is, when you're putting the Spurs bench players against the Warriors starting 5, that's no contest. No matter how good your bench players are for the Spurs, they might be the best bench players in the league. But when you're playing the 5 best starters in the league, you're going to get killed.
Well, think about it this way. Steph, right now, the way he's playing, definite Hall of Famer. Tony Parker, though, Hall of Famer.
But he's old.
It doesn't matter. He's still a great player. It doesn't matter.
Not as great.
Age is only about a number. He has some wear and
Kobe
tear.
Kobe would argue otherwise.
Okay. Well, that's because of the wear and tear. Some people adjust well, and Tony Parker has. Duncan as well, Hall of Famer. You think Draymond Green's a Hall of Famer?
It's too early to say. Not right now.
Exactly. And Ginobili against Klay Thompson?
Right now I'm taking Klay Thompson, though, for sure.
What is Ginobili a Hall of Famer?
All time, yeah, probably Ginobili is. That's not the question. Only time will tell, I suppose. We're going to move on to baseball now. Trevor Story is absolutely on fire. We appreciate the little pun I have in the graphics history. Trevor Story, all right. Anyway, got 4 home runs in 3 games. How is he doing this? He hit 2 off Greinke, 1 off Shelby Miller, 1 off Patrick Corbin, 3 pretty good pitchers. This guy's on fire.
Yeah, he is the real deal, I think. Players like this, you've seen it in Trout, you've seen it in Harper. When you see that they're good at this early in their career,
that's scary.
He is going to be the face of the MLB. He will be.
That's okay.
I mean, his team might not be that good. However they perform, he'll still be known. He'll be a household name. Trevor Story, people will be like, oh, it's Trevor Story. But I don't know about the Rockies, though. The Rockies are not that great, so.
I agree with you, but he reminds me like eerily of Troy Tulowitzki in that he plays for the same organization, the same position. He essentially the replacement, Jose Reyes, didn't pan out at all. Mm-hmm. And they have a very good potent lineup, much like they did with Tulowitzki. It's just that they can't pitch, and especially when you're in Denver and the ball's flying out of the stadium because of the altitude, that's going to hurt you. But they can definitely hit, and when you're in the middle of that potent lineup, he's going to get a lot of chance for RBIs. He's going to get a lot of good pitches to hit because who he's got behind him. He's definitely going to be a good player. Face of the MLB, he's 3 games into his career. Yeah. Take it easy there. Maybe, but I definitely don't think so. We got to see more.
Statistically, if he continues with what he's doing,
he's
he's
on
the
pace
best
for
ever.
like 200 and whatever home runs, but that's not going to happen. Can he be a very good, productive young player? He's already proved that he can. But once pitchers start to figure out how to attack him better, I think he's going to definitely slow down a little bit. It'd be impossible to keep up the pace.
Yeah, I
he's at
mean,
now.
you've seen that in football as well with Kaepernick, how he was unstoppable at the beginning of his career, where he was just running all over the field. Defenses didn't know how to stop him because if they blitz, he's just going to outrun you. He's gonna throw it down the field because you're going off your coverage. And if you're covering too long and he just sees that there's an open lane, he's going to take it and run. But they found a way to stop it, and they're probably going to find a way to stop Trevor Story.
Yeah, it's all about making adjustments, and that's definitely going to start to slow him down in the future. So from one NL West team, to another, I have the Padres anyway. No runs in 3 games. Come on. Score a run. Hit a home run. Hit one ball over the fence.
I can't even with it. They just got Justin Upton. You make a big splash like that in the free agency and you can't score a run in your first 3 games. Not only do you lose your first 3 games 0-3 on what is supposed to be a pretty decent season for them, but you don't score a run. Like, how do you not score a run? You're an MLB team with MLB players, and you have not scored a run in 27 innings.
And I get that they faced Kershaw, but after that, who do the Dodgers have? We saw the Dodgers bullpen get absolutely lit up yesterday against the Giants. The Padres faced those same guys, and they've had 2 other starters that aren't to Kershaw's caliber.
You can't compare the Giants and the Padres, though.
Exactly. That's the point I'm trying to make. The Padres are so bad this year. It's horrible. I feel bad for them. They're not going to be able to hit it all. How about you? Any standout team so far?
A standout team for me is definitely the Blue Jays. They were really great last season in the AL East. They should be undefeated at this point. That slide rule that game just killed them. That was really a dumb call. I didn't agree with that at all. But their team with Josh Donaldson, Jose Bautista, there's just too many power hitters on that team, and their pitching is still solid enough to get them through the AL. So that's a team that's standing out to me right now.
So you didn't think when Bautista slid into second with his arm hooked around the ankle that should have been
I didn't think
an out?
I didn't think it was hooked. I didn't think it was hooked. I didn't see it like that. That's not the way that I saw it. I saw that his hand was just arms were out like that, and that's just all I saw. I mean,
I agree the slide rule is getting a little bit out of hand because of the Chase Utley situation. They don't want anybody to get hurt, but somebody's going to get hurt. It's the nature of the beast, You got 2 guys going into second, full speed, trying to make a play. You have split second to make a decision. There's going to be collisions, and there's not that much you could do about it.
But they're not doing anything about the catchers. Buster Posey a couple years ago, that ended his season. So what's being done there?
They're doing.
So then why are they doing it to the infielders?
I think they are doing too much. I agree with you there. But when you put your arm out and grab his ankle, there was definitely contact.
There was definitely contact, but I don't think it was intentional.
Well, intentional or not, if you take the guy's legs out, he can't make a throw to first. He can't make a double play.
It's not fair if it's unintentional. That you can't make that call if it's unintentional.
It shouldn't matter if it was intentional or not. If he impedes his throw to first base, it should be an out.
Exactly.
And that's what he did.
I'm saying if it's unintentional though, that shouldn't be a penalty. You shouldn't be out automatically because of that.
Then what are you going to do about it? If
it's
you can always make it look like
if it's unintentional, you just gotta leave it as it is. It was just him sliding into base, and that's all that was. That was not him trying to take out the guy to make it so that he didn't throw it. No, he was just sliding into base. That's all that was happening.
Oh boy, he didn't even look like he went at the base to me. He looked like he was going left of the base and still put his arm out to the left. It wasn't. If it was he was going to the right side of the base and he stuck his left arm out reaching for the base, I would understand that. But that's not what he did. He was going away from the base with his arm. It looked like to me definitely to impede the throw.
I just disagree. I disagree.
Yeah, we'll agree to disagree. I guess that's what this show is all about. So that's going to wrap it up for us here at This Week in Sports. For my buddy Joe Forbes, thank you for coming on with us. I'm Mike McClung.
Nice to be here.
Have a fantastic night.